Quasi here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the concept of identity shifting, why most people fail to do it, and really why the biggest mistake lies in you. Okay, I'm going to explain what I mean by this in a second, but what I want to share with you and what I want you to take away by the end of this video is understanding how to become more and more flexible within yourself and who you embody according to what life requires of you, rather than staying stuck in a particular pattern of existence. This was the very key that I learned after working with over 300 clients in the Reality Mastery Program, from seeing people through to going to $50,000 months in their business, $80,000 months in their business, from 10K a month, to helping people find their soulmates, to even helping people transition from professional careers into starting up their own businesses. Okay, understanding identity shifting and how to properly do it is going to make the biggest shift in your life that you've probably ever experienced. Okay, and this is what made me go from having this professional engineering corporate career, doing something that I thought I was doomed to do for the rest of my life, to really taking control of my own destiny, all as a virtue of who I became. Okay, I really want you to pay attention to the very end of this video, because this is something that's going to be life-changing for you. And this is also going to be something you've never seen before, that I can guarantee you. Before I begin this video, I want to quickly announce that a couple of spots have opened up for the free one-to-one consult with me and my team for the Reality Mastery Program. Make sure you wait around till the end of the video for the announcement on how to sign up for that. And with that, let's get started. So in this video, I want to talk to you about shifting your identity and why this is even important. A lot of the times when I started doing getting into manifestation, getting into personal development, I was always looking for the next technique and the next thing to do. But then the whole time I saw that it wasn't the doing that was the problem. It wasn't the guided meditations. It wasn't the visualizations. It wasn't all of that. But it was in my perception, my self-conception, how my worldview is and what my paradigm of existence is. It's who I am, who you are completely. Your own internal system, states of being, dictates and governs your external state. Okay? Anything that you see without always begins from within, right? So in understanding that, it led me into a deep dive in the search for the truth and helping people transform their lives as well. But it all began with me, because if I wasn't able to change, how the hell am I supposed to teach someone else to change, right? So what I really saw was that after working with more than 300 clients in the program and seeing what works and what doesn't, the biggest problems, okay, the biggest reasons why people aren't able to shift their identity, it's very simple. It's because we become too rigid in who we are currently, right? Most people become too rigid in their current pattern of existence. What do I mean by that? Have you ever heard someone say, oh, that's just the way I am? That's just who I am. When you sort of are encountered with a difficult decision to make and, the other person backs away from it, they're like, oh no, that's just who I am. That's just me. And when you hear that, it's sort of, not does it doesn't make you feel like they're even convinced. You know what I mean? Like, it's more so that they're not even wanting to make the change. Because if there's a willingness to make a change, then people will come in and make a change. So sometimes we see people come in and make this commitment to go through this process, but they're like, oh, but this is just who I am. And they can't even fathom becoming someone different, right? Because that's what it requires. So there are deep layers to it that are even unseen to you right now. As you go deeper and deeper into this journey of finding your true self, which isn't in any sort of personality or any sort of, who I am and who I'm not. There's a particular identity that's more comfortable because that's what you've been accustomed to. But who you are is just a fallacy. It's just what you've been dictated by your environment and how you unconsciously internalize certain things that have happened. As you've moved along life, you've picked up certain things and now you're starting to call this as you. It's like me calling my clothes me. But really what you are is formless. You can't define this I am. But you can, however, embody different versions and different versions of you based on what life requires of you, based on what you want at different stages in your life, okay? So remember this, who you are is formless, but you can assume a form if you consciously choose it, but also you can unconsciously get slapped onto a "kick me, I'm a dummy" sign in the back and never see it. This is the unfortunate reality for most people. They have this sign that says "kick me" behind them, and they're walking around with it, and they're wondering why life isn't going their way. It's because they're unconsciously holding on to all of these things, right? All of these things that you call as you right now. So the mission becomes to change who I am. Now, how do you change who you are? The first thing is to stop being so rigid. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, it's again this concept of "that's just me," giving up that attitude of "oh, this is just who I am, this is just how I've been," and becoming more open and expanding yourself more and more, right? What I mean by expanding yourself more and more is expanding your comfort zone, what you've been accustomed to experiencing. If you start to change yourself and start to accustom yourself to different environments and doing uncomfortable things that you're even afraid of, your comfort zone is naturally going to expand, right? You can't experience something that isn't in your worldview right now if you operate within the parameters of your comfort zone. I want you to remember that. You cannot experience something that's outside your comfort zone if you operate within the limits and confines of your comfort zone, okay? If I didn't make the uncomfortable decision at the end of my college career to take the leap and go into business and not do the 9-to-5 that was just waiting for me, I wouldn't have experienced what I'm experiencing right now. If I didn't follow my heart and I followed what the environment, what other people told me, what I thought I should do as opposed to what I really wanted to do, I would have been stuck in an existence that wasn't mine, okay? We're going to get more into that as I'm going to share with you the 2 keys to help you fully shift your identity, okay? So understand that most people become too rigid and become, "oh, that's just me. That's just how I've been my whole life." And rigidity causes stagnation. Please understand this. Rigidity causes stagnation. Have you ever seen businesses go out of business? Why do you think that happens? It's because they found out the quote-unquote success formula, okay? They found out the success formula and they hold on to it for dear life. And that's why when the market evolves, their success formula gets outdated. So all of those businesses now that are not doing digital marketing, let's say, when everything is going online, they're getting wiped out by Amazon, right? All of those businesses that are more in person right now, even during COVID especially, they're getting wiped out. And that's because the market is evolving. So just like that, life is constantly in a process of evolution and becoming. If you become rigid in your current identity, you'll never be able to adapt, okay? This is, I think this is even one of nature's laws, or Darwin's theories of evolution. And it's that the fittest shall survive. That, not the fittest, okay? Not the fittest shall survive, but more so the one that's the most adaptable, the most flexible. This is also why Bruce Lee says, become like water, right? Because water is formless. When you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Do you see what I mean? So just like that, when you become more and more flexible within yourself, you become formless like water. You start to get into that true self that is formless and stop identifying with all of these things you've picked up. You become more and more peaceful and more one with life. And as a result, now the choice becomes available for you to embody that which you want to embody, to experience what you want to experience, okay? So this always follows as a result of you widening your comfort zone, making your life's mission to expand your comfort zone every single day and not live like how you've been living in the past, okay? The biggest trap becomes finding this success formula and holding on to it for dear life. This is what causes the downfall of innovation and just staying stuck to, "oh, this is a proven system and I'm going to follow this." But even within proven systems, most people look for the techniques and doing and the next thing to do as opposed to the core principles. So the more subtler and subtler you get with the principles of life, the more you start to find that which is formless, that which isn't subject to change. So in general, understand that life is always in a constant process of unfoldment and becoming. The real question becomes, who are you becoming? Are you stuck like this and who you are currently, or are you becoming something? Are you moving towards evolution and becoming more and more every single day, right? That is what's going to determine rigidity versus flexibility. Okay? Life is always becoming. Are you going to hang on to life, or are you going to hang on to your conceptions of what life should be like? Okay? So now I want to share with you the 2 keys to help you learn how to become more flexible, but also to help you shift your identity so you can experience what you want to experience rather than what you think you should be experiencing. Okay? This was something that was very, very important for me, that made me take the leap into going into, doing something I wanted to do. Okay, so key number 1 is what I call alignment. Okay, let's write that down. Key 1, alignment. What do I mean by that? And alignment in what? Well, in understanding the concept of alignment, you've got to understand that you've got to be in alignment with what you want. Anything that you're experiencing externally is all as a result of your internal state of being. Remember, we talked about that before. As within, so without. So who you are, your personality, how you conduct yourself, what thoughts, what attitudes you have, is governing what you see without. Let's call this your external world. Internal gives rise to external. So if that's the case, what you've got to understand is we have these particular desires, right? You and I, we want to experience something. We want to experience financial abundance. We want to experience relationship success, healthy relationships. We want to experience freedom, okay? So we want to experience all of these things. That's what we want. That's what our desires are. Okay, so we have desires. But it's not enough to have a desire if there is no sort of mechanism that brings that desire into external reality. And we know what determines external reality is your internal reality. So you've got to have alignment in your desires and who you are. Do you understand? Alignment in your heart's desires and who you are, your internal state of being. Desires plus being. So alignment in your desires plus being will bring about your goal. There is a crucial distinction here, which is what most people miss out on. And this is why most people make the biggest, most cardinal sin, which is understanding that your desires are most of the time not yours. You think you want money. You think you want a successful relationship. You think you want X, Y, Z. That's what the mind thinks the heart wants. Okay? But it's not what you truly want. Because of that, there is no alignment going on. There is a difference between what you think you want versus what you truly want. Really think about that for a second. Do you really want the money, or do you want the feeling the money brings you? Do you want the money, or do you want the freedom the money brings you? So what we do is we start to focus on the money instead of the feeling the money brings us. So we sort of get into the mind, but not the heart aspect of it. This brings me to the second part of it, the second key, which is achieving congruence. Okay? Key number 2, let's put this here. Key 2, congruence. So congruence in your heart and your mind. If you want to achieve a material goal, your mind knows what you want, but emotionally you sort of haven't achieved that groundedness in that yet. Okay? Congruence of heart plus mind. This is the second part of it. What do you truly want? Do you really want a job as a doctor, or do you want the fame, the prestige, or the validation, or the feeling, the sense, the self-gratification that brings, right? So focusing on that. So understand that the heart will never speak the language of the mind will never understand the language of the heart. What do you truly want? And Who do you have to become to achieve that? Right? So achieving congruence in your heart and mind simply comes to getting clear on your goals. Emotional plus intellectual clarity. Please bear with me. I'm sort of getting these ideas down on this board so I can explain this better. But most people have intellectual clarity. They know they want to do the 10K months. They know they want to get X amount of clients and make X amount of impact. They also know that it will help them feel good. But for some reason, it's not happening. Why? Here's why. Because 51% or more of their emotions are more tied into what they want to avoid. Currently, they're in a scarcity cycle, okay? They're experiencing the bills, the business not going well, the inconsistency in their revenue, and that's what they keep focusing on. And this desire to wanting to experience more keeps getting tied into this resistance. So it's like two ends of a stick, right? So you have the negative here and the positive here. They keep staying stuck in resistance mode. They want the money and they want to be rich because they don't want to be poor. Not because they truly want to experience the abundance. They want a relationship because they don't want to be alone. They want to be healthy because they don't want to be unhealthy. So the predominant focus is on avoidance and lack. Okay? At first, any single desire is always born out of scarcity and avoidance of the other, right? But it's that we keep drumming up on the resistance more and more. So we keep staying stuck in this side of the pole instead of truly moving forward to this side, right? Instead of truly moving forward to what we do want. So this also brings me to going back to key number 1, which is alignment, and in your state of being as well. So understanding that there must be this alignment in your thoughts that you have, the emotions that you have, and the actions that you take. Okay? Thoughts, emotions, and actions. What do I mean by that? Most people want something. They know what they want, but they keep acting in accordance with what they don't want. You know what I mean? So most people want business success. They want to get out of this cycle of failed businesses. And they know they need to do this and they need to make this investment in their business. They need to take this risk, but they're unable to take this risk because of the fear. They operate from the place of fear. They can't operate in spite of fear, but they operate from the place of fear itself. The fear starts to govern their decision-making process. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? The predominant emotion here is fear. So this fear determines their thoughts, emotions, and the actions they take. They're at the fork road right now. Making this decision helps them go to the positive, favorable lifelines. Not making the decision and saying no to it helps them move to keeping on in the current trajectory or moving to negative lifelines, right? But they keep not making the decision. They keep not investing in themselves and in their businesses. They don't take that risk. But understand, anytime you do take a risk, you've got to take a risk because otherwise you won't widen the parameters of your comfort zone. No one ever grows out of their comfort zone. Remember, we talked about that as well. So the two main keys here is alignment and congruence. Alignment means, I'm going to clarify this up for you. Alignment means having an alignment in your desire and who you are. AKA your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Key number 2, congruence, has to do more so with understanding this true desire itself, which is having, your heart and mind on the same page. This brings me to an important point about decision making. Okay, sometimes when you're about to make this crucial decision that is a risky decision as well, that will help you move forward, that may move you forward towards what you want, okay? That lifeline that you want to move towards. But you're not sure about it. What do you do in that case, right? You've got to learn to listen to your heart. Your mind will say, oh, intellectually I'm thinking about it, I need to do this, but emotionally you feel, oh shit, this isn't, something just doesn't feel right about this. When you get that feeling, don't do it. But there are other times as well where emotionally you know you need to do this. You sort of feel it. You feel that this will help you. But intellectually your mind is saying no based on what it's seen in the past, right? That's when you do make the decision. The ideal decision is made in the congruence, in the conjunction of your heart and mind, where your heart likes it and it says this is what you need to do, and your mind is like, yep, this makes sense. Intellectually this makes sense. Looking at the numbers of it, it makes sense. Sometimes you look at the numbers and it doesn't make sense, but your intuition tells you this is what you need to do. That's when you still got to make that leap, right? But then there are other times where your mind does say yes, but your heart, your intuition tells you, something's not right about this. I shouldn't do this. At those times, don't make the decision. Don't do it. With that, I conclude this video. Just to recap, what we talked about was identity shifting, why most people fail. And really, the biggest thing that I want you to take away is rigidity is what causes people to fail. Unable to adapt, unable to really become, understanding that life is in a process of unfolding and becoming. But what most people do is they stuck in who I am. Oh, this is just how I've been accustomed to being. This is just who I am. This is just what I do. And they keep staying stuck in that same old pattern over and over. And understand that rigidity causes stagnation, right? And then the two keys are understanding alignment and congruence, which is what we talked about. This is something kind of complex, and it will take you a couple of times to watch and rewatch, to redigest. I'll admit I presented this in a messy manner here, but what I want you to take away, first of all, is understanding that anything that you want, you've got to truly want. And when you understand what you truly want, you've got to become in line with that, who you are, your state of being, aka your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, okay? Who you are completely has to be in line with what you want. That's the quickest way to move towards that. And in understanding what you truly want, you've got to get congruence in your heart and your mind. Your mind will sort of know that I want this financial thing and I want this relationship thing, but that's what you think you want. You think you want the money, but you want what the money brings you. That's what the heart truly wants. So achieving that coherence, that congruence in your heart and mind is the most crucial part of it. This also applies to that decision-making process when you know you need to make a crucial business decision, an investment that you need to make, and your mind sometimes says, no, don't do this. It doesn't make sense. Why would you invest your last penny into this? But something within you, your intuition tells you, no, you know what? This is what I need to do. I can't tell you the number of times I was faced with that, where I was like, oh, intellectually, this doesn't make sense for me to do because, I'm not earning that much money, but something tells me that this is what I need to do right now. I don't know what it is because I don't understand that language with my mind, because the heart doesn't understand the language of the mind and the mind doesn't understand the language of the heart, but I can feel it. I can feel that this is the right thing for me to do right now. And I can't tell you how many times I had to borrow money to invest in programs or, invest in like my business and buying stuff like software back when I didn't even have the money, right? And I'm so glad I did that because or else I wouldn't be here today. So understand that you've got to make difficult decisions sometimes. And it's when these difficult decisions come, you expand the parameters of your comfort zone. Expanding your comfort zone literally means getting your mind accustomed to something it's not accustomed with, right? So this is why it's always important to have your heart on board. It doesn't matter what your mind wants. You've got to learn to quieten that thought process. Easier said than done, but it's always, at the end of the day, the most important part is what your heart truly wants, not what your mind wants, okay? Because the mind thinks about what it wants. It can never be present to the moment. It's always in the past or the future. Only the heart is present to the moment. Only the heart truly 100% knows what it wants, okay? The mind just needs a little convincing. The mind needs a little bit of proof, okay? So understand that. And also, to leave you off with, remember that what place is this really coming from? Do I want to get into a relationship because I want to avoid being lonely? Do I want a successful business because I don't want to keep staying poor? Or do I really want it because I want to experience what it's like? Focusing more so on the pleasure aspect of it rather than getting away from pain. Most people keep focusing on moving away from the pain, but life doesn't care about the nature of your focus, whether or not you focus on avoiding or moving towards. It cares about the content. When you say, I don't want a lack of money, it focuses on lack of money, lack of money, lack of money. When you say, I want an abundance of money, then it focuses on abundance of money, abundance of money. So this is how moldable life is and how the mirror of reality really works. So with that, I conclude this video. I sincerely hope this was helpful. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell there so you're notified of any new video that I put out. And also, as I mentioned before, I'm super excited to announce that a couple of spots have opened up for the free one-to-one consult with me and my team for the Reality Mastery Program. Make sure you click on the link in the description below to sign up for that, and let's see how we can help you level up and take your life to the next level. And really who we work with are as follows. First of all, people who are professionals who are really looking to transition out, start up their own businesses, something that gives them time, financial, location freedom. And what they're seeing is they've tried the different business opportunities, but it never sticks. They always make a full circle back to their 9-to-5 in the cubicle. And what they're seeing is the business model was never the problem, but rather it's them. Who they are. They're only worthy of the cubicle and the 9-to-5, and they think from the paradigm of an employee. That's what they keep staying stuck at. The same thing with the entrepreneurs that we work with. They're stuck at a certain revenue, they're making the 5K, 10K months. Even if they do make more, they come back down to the same level. And they want to scale up, they want to make more money, but they have the business tactics, strategies, they know what to do, they have the skills, but they just can't do it. Internally, something's blocking them. They keep hitting this invisible wall. Who they are is the problem. They're only worthy of the 5K, 10K months, that's what they keep staying stuck at. And people who are high performers, people who are creatives as well, looking to take their creative careers to the next level, but who they are, again, is the problem. If that sounds like you, please take this opportunity to click on the link in the description below to book your call, and let's see how we can help you level up. And also, I'm super excited to announce the free Facebook group is open for you to take advantage of. The link for that is also in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Peace.